Okay, hey guys, it's Jet888 here. It is October 5th, Thursday. So I'm just going to run through some quick things here I've noticed today. So I'm being shown the ball, bat, and glove. Gonna go look at the anagram. Okay, that one grabbed me first. The Bagel Volt Lab. And Volt, the symbol's V, and we see that all the time. So maybe that's what the V means all the time. So is the unit of electric potential difference, voltage. Here's something January 27th, 2023. I've read this a while ago. It says John Podesta. You know who he is? He's this guy. Here's just one headline here. John Podesta is ready to talk about Pizzagate. And he and his brother kind of matched the drawings that centered around the missing little girl, the abduction of Madeleine McCann. But they met with Mitch Landrieu, I don't know how to say that name, met with Elon Musk to discuss shared goals around electrification. So it discusses also electric vehicle production and charging, as well as the broader cause of electrification. And just to let people know, corona is a phenomenon associated with all transmission lines. Under certain conditions, the localized electric field near energized components and conductors can produce a tiny electric discharge or corona that causes the surrounding air molecules to ionize or undergo a slight localized change of electric charge. That's just one little visual. And this is what they call corona discharge. Isn't that silly, that little computerized, made up little thing? Again, made up. I just see a little bit of a similarity there. So when I just saw the ball, bat, and glove, I just looked like Bagel Volt Lab. And also BB or B ball voltage, and it does talk about in MLB playoffs. That's the anagram for MLB playoffs. It's all my BFFs op. I just thought that was funny. So the gematria for ball, bat, glove. Look at that, 666 and 111. And here's some of the numerical equivalents. Vaccination, a COVID vaccine, mark of beast, and burnt hair. And I've shown this before. Have you guys seen this? The burnt hair, 666 and 111. Here it is real quick. So here are the first two words, matrix and burnt hair. Here it is again, vaccination. There's also New York, but vaccination, computer, and mark of beast, a COVID vaccine, receive a mark. Can we just keep going? My God. I mean, really. And then look at that perfection, huh? Son of sin. I mean, this is a weird word, I think. So, and look at that, Nikola Tesla. And it's also witchcraft. But going back to the burnt hair, because I've showed this before, but just really quickly, we're going to head and look at the Boring Company. That's Elon Musk's company. And yeah, I'm picking on him today for another reason, and I'll show you. But we're going to go look at this. He's the tunneling guy. So Boring Company is headquarters in Bastrop, Texas. Is that near the border? Let's go look. Okay, so that's a ways. It's 676 miles from Bastrop to Mexico. I was just curious. Oh wait, that's not the border though. Hang on. Okay, so from Bastrop, Texas, basically as close as I could get here to the border, it's 4 hours and 11 minutes drive, so that's 260 miles, basically. So I'm just wondering, tunneling, let's go this way. It's 256, or that says 284, but it's 256 miles, basically. So you could tunnel 260 miles if you wanted, if you had that tunneling company, Lockhart. Okay, so that's not my point. I was just curious. So ball, bat, glove, and burnt hair. So you guys have seen this. It's the Boring Company. So here's his tunnels. And the top of his page here on the right, it says burnt hair. I always like to go in from the flamethrower though. So he's got this thing, and again, I don't get what this has to do with tunneling, but you got your fire, and here's your burnt hair, and we go into this. We're going to look here, and we get to this page. So I guess Elon's into, you know, perfumes or something. But here it is, burnt hair. You come down here and it says singed. You go a little further down and we have this burnt hair, the essence of repugnant desire. It's sold out, but let the flames begin. To me, that was kind of like a take on the Let the Games Begin with the Hunger Games. Remember that show, The Hunger Game? This girl's basically in a pod, and she shoots up from the pod. See, coming out of the tunnel. Isn't that sort of strange? And do you remember when I showed the Maui picture? And we went over to Lahaina to look at the burnt areas. And there's one specific area that kind of caught my attention, was this area right here. And I'll go in closer. And isn't that weird? And it looks like it would be a really tall, high, like water tower. At first when I saw this, I thought it was like, it looked like a sewer hole with a lid off, like slightly ajar, and the dark was what, like you could see into it, but I think it's just the shadowing. But when we drop this little guy, like we drop it street view, and then we look right over here, that's that thing, and see, it's not tall at all. It's a very low profile thing, so I just thought that was sort of strange. Here's another street view example. See how low to the ground it is? So it's really weird that it would make that kind of a shadow unless the lid was off. And oh my God, you guys, you know what? I just noticed. Okay, because I've been looking at this, all the houses were burnt. You saw everything burnt. So anyhow, going back to my Maui's 9/11 3 weeks ago, there's the Boring Company's flamethrower again. And I showed this console that they were showing on the Boring Company on X, which used to be Twitter. Thanks to Elon Musk, he changed it to X. But it showed this kid playing with this console and this big gate, this big door that looked like the Red Hill door to the underground tunnels. And look at this. Anyhow, and I showed this door too. This is the Red Hill door, which they have lots of tunneling over in Honolulu also, but there's also a Red Hill in Maui. So there's a show on Netflix. It's kind of cute. It's called A Good Place. Notice the bricks. Notice the red shoes. Remember I pointed those out the other day? Anyhow, you could say, I guess, that they're brown, in all fairness. So these guys, there's your Ted Danson guy. He's like the evil guy, but these people, this one, this one, this one, and this one, they all die. How's that for a little? Well, they all die, and then they go to, they wake up in this room with this guy, with Ted Danson, and he tells them, you're in the good place, like you're dead, but you made it to heaven, and they're all happy. And it's funny because they all start kind of quibbling and getting in arguments, and then she figures out that, wait a minute, we're not really in the good place, are we? We're like in the bad place, we're in hell, and he admits it. And what's funny is then they had to go to hell, like even the worst hell, and they had to go through this portal door, and this is what this portal door looked like. I took a picture from my phone on my TV. So see, they go through this portal door, which is sort of weird, because it looks like that Red Hill door in Maui and Honolulu, and it sort of looks like that big water tank top in Lahaina. There's one of their little portals there, their door thingy. That's the thing that digs holes. And here their guys are. They're engineering guys at Bastrop, Texas. See how they're looking at that tunnel thing? Look at that. A lit tunnel. And here they're taking you through the tunnel. So you think you can make it to Mexico from Bastrop down to Mexico, says Elon, who loves having immigrants come in. He even said that the other day. I videotaped it. So here's on Twitter, Proofrock, that's the digger thing. 3 testing has kicked off in Bastrop, targeting full continuous mining, i.e. machine never stops, 24 hours surface launch. Look at it, just digs. It digs through the ground. Starting a tunneling build out at Westgate. There's Encore. Anyhow, they're digging. Here's Elon. Way to go, team. Elon Musk. Encore project took approximately 10 weeks with the starting point of arrive at empty parking lot. So look at that. Sped up. And here is that TV show, The Good Place. And look at there in front of that big door. Think it has anything to do with anything? Okay, let me play this over because my video just restarted again. So it says, okay, hang on. Hey, where's Janet? They're all going, hey, where's Janet? Where's Janet? That's really weird to hear in the camera. I can't see this guy's face, but I can see his face very clearly with my own plain eyes. And I don't know why she's looking down, where those, she's looking down on her shirt like there's something on her shirt. It's weird. And they're looking over their shoulder. You can't really tell though what they're doing here. And Michael, the Ted Danson guy, goes, no time to wait for you. You 3 go. Now. You 3. So remember, we always have the 3. We have the Trinity. Father, Son, Holy Ghost. There's always 3. Like the 3 bears, Goldilocks, the 3 bears, the 3 pigs, the 3 stooges. And then now. So there's your New World Order, NWO. But so I'm going to go look at that. Hey, where's Janet? So here's the Gematria. So really quickly, we're just going to go look at where's Janet. So we've got the red wave coming. The divine DNA is activated. The matrix twin flames. And look at that code system. And there's your Elon Musk. He's always in everything. And wherever Elon goes, Adolf seems to be there too. And there's the Donald Trump. Anyhow, we're gonna watch them go through that little portal there. See that? Here they go. Hey, where's Janet? Here, put your pins on. He said. So look, and Michael also says here, he goes, here, put the pins on your lapels. And they had to have a pin in order to go through these doors. So watch that. Look at the pins on your lapels. So I guess that's what those people were doing. They're putting, and here they are. They're going through. Where's Janet? There's your Elon Musk. No time to wait for her. And then they're going to go through the portal. See, here's their pins and their lapel there. Everyone at the World Economic Forum has that. Why won't my phone focus? So those pins there, they represent the nation's sustainable development goals. So SDG, that's almost like my SDG, the gas people, sustainable development goals. So SDG. So that's interesting. So SDG at 101, there's your number. I am God. And it's also Bible. And it's also beer. And it's also mafia. And I'll show you something about that. So when you look at the word mafia, you could break that up to being AI fam, like artificial intelligence family, so you just go, okay, who's that? And that's who they are. Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and IBM. So look, if we look at them again, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and IBM, take the first letter of all their numbers and look at that. You look at the anagram. It's a Magi, or is it the Magi? So look at these guys. So who were the Magi? The biblical Magi, also referred to as wise men, kings, and the Magi were distinguished foreigners of the Gospel of Matthew and Christian tradition. They are said to have visited Jesus after his birth, bearing gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. This talks about decorators of the Church of the Nativity in Palestine. Remember Ohio? And this here says the Magi are popularly referred to as wise men and kings. And then it's the plural of Latin magus, borrowed from the Greek magos. Is that like maga? This says here, their religious practices and use of astrology caused derivatives of the term magi to be applied to the occult in general and led to the English term magic. King James Version translates the term as wise men. And then the Hebrew scriptures, there's Daniel, that's DNA lie. The same word is given as sorcerer and sorcery. So we've seen enough of that lately. This says the sarcophagus slab. Sarcophagus slab. And the sarcophagus is a coffin. And remember, I kept talking about the red flag, that 23-3, which when you add that up, 23, 2, 3 is 5, and the 3, and remember the 8, 8, because all that happened on the same day of Maui. But anyhow, 53 is also coffin. And I'll just tell you why that comes into play, because I was looking up what is biomass energy. And when I was looking at that, and I was looking at the visuals, so we see the butterfly, which is basically the MK Ultra, where they used LSD to mind control people. And then there's a giraffe, and it's funny because in that movie, In the Good Place, they had lots of giraffes running around the streets. I don't know what that yogurt acres means, but so isn't that weird? And part of the scenes when they showed the giraffe with the lamp post there, it says, "Run, mean giraffes are destroying the neighborhood." This is one of the scenes, and there's a little bagel there, and it says Schmear's Eternity. And remember today's little visual of the ball, bat, and glove? And that was Bagel Volt Lab. Like we're going to be their experiment with their voltage. So I looked up the word giraffe. It's 114. So it's hate. Remember the helicopters I saw the other day? They had the word hate or hater on it. There's your LSD. There's your as in your occult, like to be hidden. There's Bible name, as in like, what's it? The Holy Bible, if you look at the anagram, is bio hell. There's cereal, and when we feed your kids every morning cereal, if you look at that with an S, it's like serial killers, which is what a lot of these people are that control this place. And the 52 in giraffe, I looked at that, and it's devil now, as in we saw that guy go now, and then rabbit, it's the year of the rabbit. Gates, I think we've all had enough of him. And abracadabra, and abracadabra is Aleister Crowley's. I think he spelled it differently, but that's your abracadabra, dealing with magic and stuff like that. And the Set, like Setians, is like Satanism. So I looked up the anagram for biomass energy. It's funny because biomass energy, I see the word moneybag sire. So it just sort of reminded me of Elon Musk because, first of all, he's got six kids. He's got 6 kids where none of us are supposed to be, reproducing, but moneybag sire, because he is the #1 ranked for money, net worth in billions, $260.4 billion. I actually thought that Gates had more, but Tesla and SpaceX, at what is he, 54 years old? Bill Gates is #9 at 108.1 billion. So those people, there's Amazon, the Google, I'm sure he is there also. Warren Buffett, I'm sure he is part of this, but Google and Microsoft, remember the mafia, the AI fam, who happens to be Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and IBM, all part of the Magi, all the kings. So it's just weird in this movie how this giraffe has the lamp post in its mouth. Also the word biomass energy, also another anagram. can also be the gyro or gyro sine beam, and the gyro is just the round, and sine is like a wave, like the frequency. And gyro definition, a combining form meaning ring, circle, spiral. How often have we seen that? But anyhow, there's your 53, and that coffin was part of the giraffe. But I guess I'm picking on Elon because I think that he's, I don't know, like trying to name your kid X, and he changed Twitter to X. And, you know, when you look at X, X is sad, so like sudden adult death. It's also contagion. Here's SpaceX. It's also electromagnetica, because I think magnets are super important, like that whole toroidal thing. And also I am the master, which kind of ties in with all these guys. And the Magi, how do you say that? Magi? And that real creepy burnt hair thing. Why would he have that? Has anyone even called him out on that? That's just so freaky to me. But space just by itself, which he's so into that, the space things and all the rockets and all that. But number 44, it's Ray, kill, brain. We heard of all his neuro stuff, whatever that is. Maui, harp, mask, clock, which I showed the Saudi Arabia, and hidden, and also cook. Anyhow, his SpaceX being 459, 408, and 68. So detox, that's a good thing. We need to do that. Escape, hidden in plain sight, and Lord of the Ring. It's also federal lockstep, but also remember the Lord of the Ring. Is that gyro sine beam, as in a sine wave? And that's the gyro. But anyhow, I just think it's so weird how all these things kind of like eventually they all cross over and stuff, crisscross like a grid. But isn't it so beautiful? And those little monarchs, look at they look like M's, the butterflies. Always the symbols they show us. And look at that. Notice the plug. Notice the green plug. Okay. All right, guys. Oh yes, and just one more thing too. The Coastal Defense was out and about again today. They were here flying all over the place also yesterday. That's that Brett Ramos, who is the project manager of Coastal Defense. This is west and San Diego, so that's Imperial Beach and the Silver Strand. It's right below the Coronado Naval Base, but they apparently don't care. And there's his little plane. It's in 321X. There's your X. And Coastal Defense, remember you guys, I made that phone call a long time ago, talked to Sherry Taylor. They're the government organization. They are hired by our government to harass the crap out of community below. I mean, who knows really what they're doing. He does electronic surveillance. This was one of his flights, August 29th this year. Yeah, there's their information, their phone number and everything. And that's the project manager. And this was their flight October 3rd. So he's been flying quite a bit, and then they delete it, so you don't have any of the information unless you capture it live. Okay, and regarding also my area, County of San Diego, and why I'm talking about this is because of all that dropping of the oral vaccines for the rabies in Alabama the other day, all those helicopters. So here's your vector control program. And San Diego County is letting everyone know that they are dropping mosquito larvicide aerial application fact sheet, sdfightthebite.com. And there's your helicopters. And here are the granules that they're going to be dropping all over the place. There's San Diego County. But the interesting thing about this, and here's your epidemiology and immunization service branches. So here is the HHSA. I showed this the other day, and how they basically say malaria is not endemic to San Diego. It's sometimes diagnosed among travelers, refugees, and immigrants coming from places where malaria occurs. So if it's not endemic to San Diego and it's not contagious, and a mosquito will not bite someone who has malaria. It's been tested, I've seen it. And here's the same sheet. If you look down, of course, N equals 66. Yes, of course it does. But here, clinical outcomes, you got some people who are hospitalized, but nobody died. Nobody died. And look at this funny graph. I mean, oh wow, it looks so big, but look at the actual numbers. Like, isn't that crazy? I mean, they're very low. So here in 2020, like 6 people got it, but nobody died. But yet we're going to drop all this poison on you. And guess what else? They talk about it being the larvicide is like a bacterial byproduct that stops mosquitoes. And they show you the composition of these pellets. So it's a bacillus, something, whatever. It's like a biological thing. It's like natural biowarfare for these guys. So, but then look, trade secret, other ingredients, which you have no idea what those other ingredients are. That the other ingredients consist of 97.2% of those pellets. So I'm just saying, here we don't have it. It's not endemic to San Diego. You don't know what's in that, just like you didn't know what was in the needle crafting for the last 3 years. But they're going to drop it all over your head anyhow. And there's no information because they haven't done the testing. And all that, the oral rabies vaccine, that all this crap that they're dropping all over in the land, like on your yard so your animals can eat it, everything. If it's not toxic or poisonous, why are they wearing gloves? So this is just on the conveyor belt and they just shove it out the door. Just, you know, water, everything. They're just poisoning our land. And that's the Department of Agriculture who is doing that. Look at that, how that just resembles a fire, because they're just like serial killers. Ritualistic serial killers. Yep. Okay. And so anyhow, the Department of Agriculture too, those are who've been taking all my plants and stuff and destroying them. So maybe we should ask the Department of Agriculture, why are they destroying male, you know, commerce? They're destroying commerce, so, and food sources. Anyhow, they seem like they might be really one of the ones at the very bottom of this. And, you know, I think they might be doing a lot of it. So here's California Gov, CDFA, California Department of Food and Agriculture. Detection of citrus disease in Ventura County establishes new quarantine area. And this is the last thing, I promise. Yeah, here's citrus. And that's funny, it's Elon Musk. Okay, guys, that's it. Try to be good. Good night.